Hey Cancer, let's see what we got going for you. Messages for Cancer, messages for Cancer. Do Celtic Cross messages for Cancer. Queen of Stones, Queen of Pentacles, and the Guardian. I'm just going to put this all out before I start rambling. Seems like you really want to talk. So, the Queen of Pentacles, that is, the Queen of Stones is the Queen of Pentacles. That's someone resourceful, resilient, considered like the businesswoman and mother. You care for all things. You have everything that you need. You're nurturing something into creating something bigger. The Queen of Pentacles is usually depicted with cradling a pentacle within her lap. I feel like you were trying to nurture a business idea, a creative project, possibly a new career path, a job, or kind of some kind of business path. Even your own business, but then the devil kind of blocked you, got in the way. The 15th is the Guardian, is the devil. It usually could be depicted as a Capricorn or, and Capricorn is things like addiction. It's things like control dynamics. It's things like people standing in your way and standing on your neck and trying to control you and oppress you. Now, it could be a boss, it could be addictions, it could be negative thinking and self-talk, not feeling good enough, like having self-confidence issues. It could be somebody kind of working against you. It could be, your addiction issues or, not just addiction issues, but maybe just negative self-talk and negative thinking, and that's something that's keeping you held back. Now, your foundation is the Six of Bows, that's abundance. This is being seen as victorious by other people, that people see you as victorious. You wanted to be seen as victorious. Maybe if you were trying to expand on a business idea or a business plan, and they're like, oh, you can't do that, or, but it's like you try to persevere and you're like, oh, I'll show you. It's like you wanted to be seen as victorious by other people, like despite like odds set up against you. And maybe you were in situations before that was kind of oppressive and, you know, where people kind of sabotaged you and held you down in some kind of way. And you kind of wanted to be kind of break free from that cage. In the past, two of bows. This is in reverse. This is, in the past you made a decision, or somebody didn't want to work with you. There's a lack of working together, there's a lack of expansion. And maybe you've tried to work with other people within the situation, like collaborate, you know, like equitably somehow, but then things never seem to work out. And everybody that you kind of like try to work in a more equitable way, it just ended up like more of a loss on your part than it was a gain. The Three of Stones above your goals, the best that can be accomplished is using your creativity. You're being resourceful, like seeing what you have and best utilizing that to your abilities. This is also working together with other people. And maybe you've been hesitant to do that because in the past it was like it didn't work out to your favor. So maybe you're afraid to let anybody in or to ask for help or assistance of some kind. And maybe you've had some setbacks, or, you know, it's like you've let your thoughts and mind get in the way of things and to stop you from achieving a certain goal or outcome. What's ahead of you is 10 of Cups. That's happiness. Even though you feel like you're being blocked right now, there's things that's holding you back. There's situations that's holding you back. I feel like there is happiness on the front. You know, like, don't allow your thoughts, your negative thinking, negative thoughts, like fear, get in the way of your goals. And don't be afraid to ask for help when needed. I think you need to find a way of being more creative into how to achieve your goals. And it's whether if it's with working with other people, consulting some people like professional wise, or even like, you know, reaching out to people that you think that could help you. You feel like somebody or something has been always in your way, kind of blocking your progress. And maybe it's even self-sabotage as well. And maybe you're having this fear that's blocking you from achieving your goals because it's always like a disaster thinking, like, oh, this isn't going to work out. Like, oh, like I'm going to be broke in a month. Oh, you know, like, it's like thinking the worst that's going to happen before it even happened, and that totally like held you back. But in the future, I do see happiness. Three of Vessels, how you see yourself. So, overall, you have joy in your life, you have happiness in your life, and maybe you have a lot more resources than you're allowing yourself to see. And it's like this disaster thinking that's kind of getting in your way. And stopping you. This disaster thinking is the thing that's hindering your progress. And, you know, and it's not only disaster thinking, because maybe there are outside forces that are like trying to hinder your progress in some kind of way and put up some kind of roadblocks. But it's like, you're like, no, I think it's best that I do this on my own and by myself, because I feel like, you know, this is like trust issues as well, that anybody comes in, you're thinking about the worst, because in the end, like, you've had a lot of history of people kind of screwing you over. So it's like, I'm going to stick to my guns and I'm going to try to do it on my own. And it's like you see yourself as overall, like, you're happy. You know, this is 3 of Cups. This is joy. This is like reunion. This could also mean like a third party situation, but I'm not sure if I exactly see it here. Maybe, I mean, maybe this is more reunion and joy. It's trying to see the joy into things, into the resources that you already have, and don't allow this disaster thinking to get in the way. Now, other people on the outside, how they see you, Cancer, is the King of Arrows. They see you as someone who's very intelligent. So the King of Arrows is the King of Swords in this deck. You are extremely intelligent. You know, like, you're very logical. It's like you see the situation at hand and then you try to make active steps into kind of like making whatever decision or dream that you have come true and bringing that into fruition. Now, it could also be depicted as like a lawyer, you know, or a doctor, or, you know, it's somebody who is extremely intelligent and very, very logical and analytical. And it's like maybe, and people see this about you. There could be an air sign, a King of Swords, that's also looking into your situation, kind of like wanting to see what's up with you. But it's like, I wouldn't try to look down on yourself or your situation and allow your disaster thinking to throw you off track. Because maybe that was the thing that kind of threw you off track in the past. It's like a self-sabotaging kind of situation. Like this kind of feeling of like, you know, like believing in yourself and your abilities. This is kind of like this idea of like, but then it's like, maybe you should see yourself the way other people see you, as extremely intelligent. And it's like this fear and this like, you know, like these conditioned beliefs that, you know, you're not smart or good enough, or, you know, like maybe you've had a lot of people in your past that did a number on your self-confidence and they kind of made you second guess yourself a lot and your own abilities. And this is the kind of like a learned belief that's been holding you back throughout your life. And it's like, you took on a lot of those characteristics. If you had bosses that are always like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, or, oh, you're naive, let me tell you how it is. But it's usually those people who like don't know like what the hell, or they just have their stagnant, stodged beliefs that only gets them so far anyway. But it's like you think of you think on a more expansive level. You know, yet like you have a bird's eye view perspective and you see things in a different perspective, and then people who could see in a very rigid and an enclosed like perspective. And that's why people kind of misunderstand you and your thoughts and your thinking patterns. And, you know, they would question that and they would actually make you feel bad about it because they can't only see a certain point of view or perspective. And it's like you think in a more expansive way, and maybe that became a factor into second guessing yourself as well. Now, your hopes and fears is the Queen of Vessels, the Salmon, the Queen of Cups, is to listen to your intuition more. Like the Queen of Cups, they're extremely intuitive. Like they rule intuition, emotion. And it's like, this is like making like a head over heart decision. It's like you want to be totally analytical, but then it's like you block off the emotional aspect of you. Like you feel that something may happen, but it's like your head gets in the way, and there's a need to come back into yourself. Like look at all the gifts that you have, the resources that you have, and actually utilize that into creating more abundance for yourself. And you do that by listening to your intuition more, because logically, like things may seem like a disaster, but intuitively you feel like there could be something better, or like I could actually make this work, and it's like your head and your heart is like fighting against the other, and then it's like, should I do this or should I do that? I feel like things might get better, but I don't want to look at it because on paper it doesn't look all that great and it's disaster thinking. But it's like, okay, well, there's a need to listen to your intuition more, you know, instead of being totally in your head. And that may be the devil as well, keeping you stuck, is listening more to your intuition. 10 of Arrows in reverse. The outcome, what you'll gain from this experience. This is it says instruction in reverse. The reward or quality or tool that will help you achieve a breakthrough. Stop listening to other people. Because every time you took direction and advice from other people, it was like you followed a lot of bad advice. And it kind of led you into second guessing yourself. And any of the advice that you kind of took from other people, like maybe they weren't giving you the advice that was actually looking out for your best interest, or, you know, even your overall happiness. I feel like somebody on the outside is watching you. They're watching you, but they're not saying anything. It's like they want to work with you, but they don't know how to kind of get in with your situation or send you a message that would make you actually want to get like involved with them in any way. I feel like there's something ahead of you that's going to be good, and it's going to end up a better outcome than you think. But it's like there's a need to listen more to your own inner self, your inner voice and intuition, and get out of your head, and because it's holding you back from what you need to do. Because it's like analysis paralysis, you know? It's like you're thinking about it, but you want to look at all of the angles, but then you look at all of the angles that you don't even, and then you have another option, and you have 3 options up ahead of you, and you research every single one, but yet you didn't even call one of the options or follow through because you're still looking at the minute details of all 3 of those options to every, like, analyzing it and tearing it apart to every degree, that you're still not moving, you're just analyzing. And I could see that there is a benefit to that you don't rush into anything before, you know, and sign any bad contracts that you should. But it also holds you back into like actually taking the next step to actually like put in like those ideas into the physical. whoever this person is on the outside, I feel like maybe that you have put an end to that situation and they haven't contacted you, or this is a new person on the outside that's kind of keeping a close eye on you and they're wondering how to come in. But what's going to help you achieve a breakthrough, if this is somebody that you've known for the past that you've cut off, that is to not let them try to involve their ideas into your situation, because I feel like it might kind of get in the way and throw you off track, because it's like, if they want to work with you in some kind, it's like you got to leave the creative stuff or the general foundation stuff to like your own. Because I feel like if you pull somebody in and then they try to kind of like steal all of that and like, you know, kind of change everything, then I feel like you're going to get a lot farther than what you ever meant to be. And it's not going to look out like the way that you want it. It's not going to be lining up with your vision. It's like you got to take the next step into whatever you're trying to achieve, into actually making this, like bringing it into reality. Because it's like I see a part of you holding yourself back. It's like you're keeping yourself stagnant, maybe because it is a fear, but it's like you've looked into every detail, but you're not taking the next step into like actually creating that idea into the reality. And perhaps you did take in a couple steps, but you're holding yourself back in some regard because of this fear. And I feel like if you start taking next steps that you haven't took before into realizing this certain goal or dream or situation, or even partnership, like I feel like it'll turn out better for you. Like, let's say if we model this into an idea of a person or relationship. Let's say you've had a certain relationship or idea or a move that you want to make, and then you start telling all of the people around you about it, and then they start interjecting their idea about how it's a bad idea. You know, you shouldn't move to that state because, you know, A, B, and C, it wouldn't work out good for you. But it's like, how would they even know? And then it's like you take that to heart and you stop yourself. Or it's like you started dating somebody and then you introduce them to your family and friends. You're like, I don't think this person is good for you because A, B, and C, you know? And then you're like, oh, maybe you're right, and you take it to heart, and then you stop yourself from even dating this person that you actually like. And it's like, how did they even know what's good for you? Only you listening to yourself and your intuition knows what's good for you. It's like they could have an idea of what's good for you, but they don't know if it's going to make you happy or not. Only you do. Or let's say it's like, this is somebody, it's like you want to make some kind of drastic move, but it's like the idea and instructions of other people just got in the way of that. And there's a need to start listening to your intuition and stop holding yourself back and holding on to these old ideas and dynamics that it didn't really work all that great for you to begin with. Like, you weren't all that happy to begin with, and that's why you decided to make this change. And even try to guard yourself from people who are trying to interject their strong opinions that made you change your life into a direction that you weren't happy with. If this is someone on the outside, I feel like this is somebody that you kind of dated, and, you know, it's like you decided not to date them because of other people's ideas, or they kind of ghosted you because they were listening to directions from other people. They weren't listening to their own intuition, and then they totally abandoned you, you know, if this is a relationship wise. But I feel like I'm more like building your own autonomy and like believing more into yourself, and stop like second guessing yourself, and, you know, always thinking that things are going to end up for the worst. Because if you stop listening to people's ideas and beliefs that didn't make you happy or follow a direction that made you feel stuck, then maybe you should not seek out those same people for that advice, and start actually looking into what you really, really want and what's best for you, because only you can know what makes you happy. What's underneath on the bottom is King of Vessels. This is the King of Clubs. I feel like somebody wants to come in and make some kind of offer and work with you, but they're not communicating it. Maybe they're even making some kind of life change to do this. It's either they or you are. And it's like a need to listen to your own intuition about this, and stop letting outside sources kind of like poison whatever idea or path that you want to go down. Because in the end, only you know what makes you happy. You have to look at both, not only the emotional side and your intuition, but also the analytical side and logic of it. You know, I could tell you all day not to go for somebody from your past or to go for someone in your past, but it's only you that knows what's going to make you happy in the end. And it's only you that could really analyze, like, how beneficial is this for your life as opposed to really detrimental it is for your life. Like, what are you getting out of this situation that's going to be making it beneficial? And it's like a cost and gain analysis of the situation. If the gain is more than the loss, gain and loss analysis. If the gain is more than the loss of what could happen, then maybe you should. But if the loss is more than the gain, then you should hold back. But it's a need for self-analysis, because what you're going towards is ultimately good, as long as you're able to not take advice from people that don't even understand what's going to make you happy in the long run. Because I feel like every time you did, it kept you stuck. And even people offering their advice, even when you didn't ask, and kind of interjecting it along with like questioning yourself and your abilities, it became a habit that you question yourself constantly about it. You become unsure and second guess yourself, and then it becomes like analysis paralysis. This is either how you're feeling or someone on the outside. And maybe it's even somebody on the outside as well that you're like, and maybe it's like you're thinking about somebody as well, somebody from your past, or they're thinking about you. They're thinking about if they would reach out or if you should reach out. And it's like, I see emotion here, but it's like you don't want to rest on the idea of like, if someone should come about, and hold yourself back for somebody to save you into the situation that you are in. It's like you have to make progressive steps into actually furthering along whatever business or life opportunity that you have, into actually making and manifesting your life into your overall abundance. And stop listening to the advice of other people. Maybe this is somebody else as well, like listening to a lot of tarot readings, or like, and it's like they say so many conflicting things, and you're in a situation and you're dating somebody new, And then all of a sudden you think that this person is going to cheat on me. This person has a secret lover or family. Like, I know it is because I don't know it is. You have no absolute proof. But then it's like you kind of like absorb all of these ideas with no proof. And then you work on a bunch of assumptions. And then when you work on a bunch of assumptions without any logical or tangible proof, you kind of like, you know, you pinch the pony, you kind of screw yourself in the end. Now, I'm gonna... Should I clarify? Let's clarify the devil. 2. Oh, holy shit. Okay, so this is, look, this is the Queen of Cups on the upside. This is the King of Cups on the upside. And this, now the devil is the King and Queen of Cups in reverse. This could be a soulmate union or somebody from your past. This is disaster thinking, listening and thinking, running on assumptions that somebody is like a disaster or it's not going to work out. And it's like self-sabotaging yourself and your situation and even this relationship. And it didn't kind of go through. It didn't kind of progress in any way because it's a self-sabotage. And maybe you have trust issues and fear of abandonment, and you listen to a bunch of advice or tarot readings, and you know, or they're just energy, your collective energy together along with that. It brings some kind of like a distorted perception into it, and that's the devil. Maybe you both were in this situation when you were dealing with the other. And it's like you don't want to work in that energy anymore. You want to work together. You want to be seen as victorious and abundant. And it's like you want to take away those negative thoughts and thinking because you feel like you didn't get what you want dealing with this person, or they didn't with you, or maybe you both didn't. So what is this? You're going to have happiness in your future. What is this instructions in reverse? Truth. So 10. This is 10 of arrows in reverse. Somebody wants to come back and speak the truth. They want to reveal something that they haven't. Maybe their past fears or situations that brought an ending to this. Or maybe you both contributed in some kind of way that self-sabotaged the situation. Or maybe there was something that was being hidden as to why it didn't progress in some kind of way. I feel like somebody's wants to come and speak the truth. And they want to bring, so the 10 of arrows, this is the 10 of arrows in reverse. 10 of arrows is an ending. It's like, you know, constant betrayals to the point that they have so many knives in their back that they're dead. Like it took them so long to die. But it's like somebody wants to come out of this, from this death and ending. And and they've been watching you, but maybe you've been thinking about this person again after a while, and it's like you haven't even thought about this person in a really long time, but then the energy of it is so strong that it's like, oh my God, it's like, why am I thinking about this person constantly? And I feel like it's because, you know, that they've been thinking about you. And they've been thinking about you and wanting to return and speak some kind of truth in some kind of way and explain to you what the situation is and what happened, because maybe them or even you, maybe you both reacted kind of strangely while you were together. It's like the collective energies was weird. What is this Knight of Arrows, Knight of Swords in reverse? I feel like they might come and they might... The Knight of Swords in reverse is a lack of communication. It's like you didn't communicate. You didn't get a chance to get to know each other or the situation. Like you rushed into a situation. If it was a long-term situation that was off and on, and maybe they lived in a different area or place, it was like you knew them, but you didn't. You didn't really know their situation when they came back around again, and you kind of, you feel like something was being hidden, and maybe something was. And it's like, yeah, they have these feelings for you, or you have these feelings for, I feel like they have these feelings for you, and maybe you did of them, and this was something that took you a while to bring yourself out of, and it's like, damn, I self-sabotaged with the situation, or we both did, and it was never gonna really work because I feel like there was secrets being kept, and I feel like there was. You know, I don't know exactly what that was. The Chariot. Somebody is Knight of Arrows, Knight of Swords in reverse. You have a King of Cups that wants to make a return. They're not communicating with you, but they want to come your way and work with you. And I feel like there will be a revelation to this. They want to kind of pull the Lazarus and, you know, revive something that was dead. And maybe that's why you started to pick up on them. Oh my God. What the hell? Two of Cups. A soulmate? Is this either a soulmate or a family member or, you know, holy crap. Somebody feels that you're the soulmate? Yeah, you're their soulmate? I don't know. You have to really listen to your intuition on this. If it's been a really long time since you spoke to them, you have to ask yourself why it's been a really long time. What have they been doing? You know, I feel like they're going to come and reveal something to you. But, you know, I think you have to think logically about it and use your head and your heart. Ask yourself what took them so long. Ask yourself, like, what's the gain and loss analysis of the situation? Is it going to hinder you or is it going to help you? Because only you could know, you know? So outcome, breathe. Maybe it's anxiety issues. Maybe it's a fear of abandonment. Maybe it's a fear, trust issues due to, you know, these past beliefs, like these ingrained beliefs. Not to let your anxiety and your fear get the best of you and self-sabotage you. Outcome, outcome, outcome. Because you feel like you feel like you were left out in the cold. You feel like you were rejected and abandoned. And I feel like it is abandonment and trust issues that self-sabotaged yourself and the situation, and maybe even theirs too. Like you met each other or you started dealing with each other, and it brought up a lot of these unhealed wounds. You're going to have a decision when this person comes in. Onto regenerating a situation. And like I said, what is the gain and loss analysis of the situation? Listen to your own intuition. And don't let the noise of the outside hinder what is actually something that's best going to work for you. And it's something that you could only really analyze yourself. Because this is going to bring you a lot of conflicting emotions when this message comes in. Or maybe this person is having a lot of conflicting emotions to coming in towards you. But I feel like whatever communication or what will reveal itself, it's going to kind of really make you feel some kind of way. What is the advice? Advice from Spirit. You're imbalanced. Your trust issues, your fear of abandonment makes you unbalanced. There's a need to cause balance within your own life. And, take active steps into becoming completely independent and not dependent on another person or situation, and just actively work on becoming independent so you have less of a fear of being abandoned or left behind, because it's like these abandonment issues, these trust issues, it was because you were hurt in the past. It was because you've had this history, but you can't carry this along throughout your life because it'll hinder you and stop you from progressing into anything else deeper. Goddess of the Moon in reverse. I don't even know if I'm going to take these. Not listening to your intuition. There's a need to listen to your intuition again. Adjacent possibilities. There could be many possibilities to one situation, just not one fear. What is these adjacent possibilities? What is these adjacent possibilities? Adjacent possibilities, what are they? Advice from Spirit, what are these adjacent possibilities? Seventh chakra, Archangel Uriel. So this represents states of higher consciousness and divine connection. The unbalanced attributes is cynicism, disregarding what is sacred, closed-mindedness, and disconnection with spirit. Listen to your intuition and consult with spirit. It's like you were cut off from yourself and spirit because you were too much in your head. And it self-sabotaged you in a lot of ways, and maybe not only in this situation, but many different situations. And instead of seeing the ends of things and disaster in things, maybe it's time to look at them as in like adjacent possibilities. Instead of seeing disasters, see the possibilities that you could actually get from it. Seeing the positives of it and not just the negatives that stops you from moving at all. Oh my God, man holding a coin underneath. Somebody wants to give you an offer. It is a spiritual union. And perhaps you self-sabotage, or you both did in this past, and somebody wants to come in and they want to reveal some kind of truth. And I hate having to talk about the situation because it's been heard so many times, but I think if somebody wants to offer you some kind of message or some truth or revelation, I think you should at least hear them out and not think the worst of everything, because how did the worst of everything, thinking the worst of everything, how did it work out for you so far? It ended up you alone and doing everything on yourself, and it became just a lot harder, and it brought some stagnancy into your life. Now it's time to look at the possibilities of what you have. Because if you look at life like everybody's going to hurt you, like we attract what we think about most. And yeah, that's what I got for you, Cancer. Feel free to smash that like button below if it did resonate, and donation box below. Also, I'm actually offering readings. I'll put that in the description box below if y'all are interested. I love you lots, and bye.